Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. I love scary movies, and seeing as this is the month of Hallows Eve, I thought I'd quickly go through 5 scary movies that terrify me. Now this is going to be a very subjective list, so if a film that scared you isn't on the countdown, then calm down. This is a list based on what scares me personally. Let's begin. The Others. Now, I'm not a firm believer in ghosts because I've never seen one, but the concept of haunting spirits does fascinate me, particularly ones that cannot be seen yet leave a mark or try to get attention. The Others taps into my curiosity about ghosts and creates a very unsettling atmosphere. The spine-tingling music, the mysteriously foggy setting, and the well-paced build-up all help to generate this atmosphere. I feel that this film is most effective when watched in surround sound. Why? Well, you get to hear footsteps around the corners of the room you're watching the movie in, which elevates the tension. Rosemary's Baby. This film tries to frighten its audience not through jump scares or bloody gore, but through a well-paced mystery story. It makes the audience question who they can trust and wonder which scenes represent reality. Much like the film American Beauty, Rosemary's Baby shows that disturbing, strange, and unexpected truths are sometimes behind the doors of clean-cut suburban households. Just because someone seems like an unlikely threat doesn't mean that it's impossible for them to be hiding sinister intentions. Barefoot Gen. This is a miserable, heartbreaking, and incredibly disturbing movie that's set during the nuclear bombing of Hiroshima in Japan. Its story presents one horrific tragedy after another as our characters suffer from the fallout effects. This film frightens me because it reflects the horrors of war by stamping over its soft eggshells rather than treading carefully around them. It's honest, brutal, outspoken, and deeply unsettling to watch. Shaun of the Dead. I know that many of you are now wondering why I put a comedy in my number 2 spot. Well, let me explain, hear me out. Yes, Shaun of the Dead is intentionally funny, but it's set in a rural British town much like where I live. I know houses like this, I recognise these streets, and I live near pubs like the Winchester. This film's setting is easy for me to connect to because it mirrors my hometown or places I live close to. Having a zombie apocalypse take place in a backdrop I can identify makes me imagine the possibility of The Walking Dead much easier, which is kind of disturbing. The Shining. Everything about The Shining terrifies me. Jack Nicholson's unnerving performance, Kubrick's frightening visuals, and the ominous music score by Wendy Carlos all make this a blood-curdling experience for me. Every frame, every scene, and every sound in this movie sends shivers down my spine. This is a beautifully crafted horror movie that has effective scares and an atmosphere that sickens my stomach. The first time I watched this, I had to turn it off because it kept me in a constant state of fear. This is why The Shining is the scariest movie that I've ever seen. So, those were my top 5 scariest movies. Which films creep you out or give you the shivers? Comment below.